Just a reminder before today's programme that the whole series of the Ident Review Extra, taking a look at all the individual idents of BBC2 during the 90s and early 2000s, is available to view in one compilation. And now, here on AMTV, to open up our festive season this December, it's time for our Christmas specials on the Ident Review Extra. Hello, and welcome to this run of Christmas specials for the Ident Review Extra, the show where we take a look at one individual ident each episode and give it the review it deserves. And today we begin our journey through the Christmas idents that represented BBC2 through the 1990s. Now, for those of you who have been around long enough, you may remember that the Christmas BBC2 idents of the 90s were in fact covered on the main Ident Review show a couple of years ago. However, considering we launched the Ident Review Extra with a big BBC2 marathon, it only seems fitting that we give these another look, to really complete that big old journey. And besides, views change over time, so I may look on some of these a little differently than before. But without delaying any further, we begin at the first Christmas of this new era of idents for BBC2. This places us in the year 1991, so let's have a look at how BBC2 decided to showcase itself at Christmas time.
Here on 2 now, we prepare to enjoy Stephen Sondheim's Pulitzer Prize-winning musical, inspired by the life of the 19th century painter Seurat. Mandy Patinkin and Bernadette Peters recreate their original Broadway roles and spend Sunday in the park with George.
This one has quite the early motion picture vibe to it. Sure, it's not in black and white or anything like that, but I'm talking more about the visual aesthetic of the two and what's going on around it. The man sprinkling dust from the window, it reminds me a lot of those early experimental French films of the early 1900s, as does the rocket that flies over the two. If you've ever seen or heard of the early film where a rocket crashes into the moon with a face, that's the kind of thing I mean. As for the rest of the design, the aqua blue tones of the two shine through the wrapping that closes most of it off. Despite being on screens for less than a year at this point, the distinctive sharp edges and colour tones of the two were synonymous with viewers all across the country. The music as well sounds quite fantastical, having that fantasy element about it. The repeating notes echo the motif that the regular idents were doing so often, taking a few notes of music and repeating them over the image of the two. So whilst on the surface there may not be much that ties in with Christmas, besides the wrapping paper, for me at least it still manages to capture a somewhat timeless feel, and makes me feel all warm and cosy and ready for the festive season, as any good Christmas ident should. This ident was the main representative of Christmas of 1991 on BBC2, but on the 21st of December, BBC2 would air an evening of programming which it dubbed as A Perfect Christmas. On this evening, several new 2 idents were shown for one time only. In retrospect, some of these serve more as stings than idents, and we just want to focus on the mains here, so maybe you'll see the Perfect Christmas batch pop up somewhere further down the line. But that's all for this instalment of the Ident Review Extra. Thank you very much for watching, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more nostalgic memories. I've been Adam Martyn from AMTV, and join us next time to look at the Christmas of 1992. A massive thank you to our producer and director patrons for your support towards us here at AMTV. You just help keep us going, and that's massively appreciated. And that does bring us to the end of another evening here on AMTV. We hope you enjoyed the programme. Please do keep supporting the channel with all our festive offerings that we have for you every single day of December. And until you tune in again, we hope to see you next time. Good night.